Hi, I'm professional sports handicapper Ross Benjamin reporting for the Offshore Gaming Association. That's OSGA.com, your number one source for information on the offshore sportsbook industry. That's OSGA.com. It's Monday, July 15th. I have three Major League Baseball totals picks for today. Let's get right to them. Let's start with the game between the Cincinnati Reds and Chicago Cubs from Wrigley Field in Chicago. 8:05 p.m. Eastern Time slated start. The total in this game is 10, and it's this high considering the two pitchers. It's rather high, I should say, considering there's two starting pitchers in this matchup. As Cincinnati goes with their ace Luis Castillo, and Chicago Cubs going with Kyle Hendricks, who's been very good at home this year. But you can look at the wind conditions at Wrigley Field like you always have to do when you're betting a total at Wrigley Field. The winds will be blowing out 13 to 15 miles an hour to center field. Having said that, Luis Castillo has faced the Cubs twice this year and has a very good 2.19 ERA and a microscopic 0.71 whip in those two outings. Both of those games have stayed under the total, and Castillo's only allowed 9 home runs in 106 innings pitched this season. That amounts to 1 per every 11.8 innings pitched. So despite the wind conditions, this is not a starting pitcher in Luis Castillo that's prone to be giving up the long ball. The Cincinnati Reds this season, when there's been a total of 8.5 to 10 and they're playing on the road, have gone under the total in 12 of those 15 games. Kyle Hendricks gets the start for the Chicago Cubs, and as I touched upon earlier in the video, he's been very good at home. As a matter of fact, how about an excellent 165 ERA and 0.88 whip in 7 home starts. Also, he's only given up 2 home runs in 49 innings pitched at Wrigley Field, and that amounts to 1 home run per 24.5 innings of work at home this year. He'll be facing a Cincinnati Reds team that's hitting just 239 as a team this season. They got a nice Major League Baseball totals angle on this game. Anytime you have a National League road team that has a total of 10 or greater and their starting pitcher has an ERA of 3 or less and they have a team batting average of 245 or less, 36 of those 44 games have gone under the total. It's since 1997. That's 81.8% of the time. And those games have gone under the total by an average of 2.2 runs per game. I like the Cincinnati Reds and the Chicago Cubs to go under the total of 10. The next game we're going to take a look at also comes in the National League as the Pittsburgh Pirates travel to Busch Stadium in St. Louis to take on the Cardinals. 8:15 p.m. Eastern Time start. The total in this game is 8. Opened at 8.5, went down to 8 across the board. There'll be winds of 10 to 12 miles an hour blowing directly in from right field, which is surely will help the pitchers tonight. And between those wind conditions and the two starting pitchers, I like this to be a low-scoring affair. I mean, Joe Musgrove gets the start for Pittsburgh. In his last 4, Musgrove has a 164 ERA and 0.95 whip, while Miles Mikolas gets the start for the St. Louis Cardinals. In 9 home starts this year, Mikolas has a 2.48 ERA and a 0.97 whip. And 6 of those 9 games have gone under the total. And also, 7 starts since last year against the Pittsburgh Pirates. Miles Mikolas in those outings, a 3.14 ERA and a 1.09 whip. And in addition to his last 3 starts at home, an even better 1.00 ERA. Pittsburgh St. Louis under the total of 8. The last game we're going to look at is the Detroit Tigers at the Cleveland Indians, 7:10 p.m. Eastern Time. The total in this contest is 10.5 across the board. Daniel Norris gets the start for the Detroit Tigers. He's faced Cleveland once this year and allowed 6 earned runs in 7 innings of work. The Detroit Tigers have gone over the total in 7 of their last 9 games, and over their last 7 games, they put together a fine team OPS of 802 while averaging 6.3 runs per game over those 7 outings. The Cleveland Indians, their last 7 games, an excellent 891 whip, or excuse me, OPS, and they've also hit 15 home runs during those last 7 games. I like this game to be a high scoring affair. Detroit and Cleveland over 10.5. Repeating again, the 3 MLB totals picks for Monday, July 15th. The Cincinnati Reds and Chicago Cubs under 10. The Pittsburgh Pirates and St. Louis Cardinals under 8. And the Detroit Tigers and Cleveland Indians over 10.5. Be sure to visit my website, that's rbwins.com, where you will find all the games I personally wager on myself. I should say wager the most money on myself. That's rbwins.com, where you pay a little to make a lot. Be sure to subscribe to our YouTube page, our OSGA YouTube page, and get alerted immediately when my videos get published. Until the next time, good luck with all your picks.